NUTSCREAMER. Just hanging out yelling.
1983, and it was Motley Crue Shout at the Devil tour, and it was at the Cleveland Music City Hall, and that was my first concert, and I still have my concert t-shirts and my tour program and my buttons and stuff I bought from that show, and believe it or not, I'm still a big Motley Crue fan. I feel bad that I can't remember what I actually bought with my own money, where I saved up my cash and I'm like, oh, I'm going to go buy this album. It probably was Motley Crue Shout the Devil, believe it or not, too. But I remember being young and going to a store called Uncle Bill's, and my mom bought me the Ace Frehley solo album, and that's been one of my favorite albums my whole life.
This goddamn stupid ass goddamn NUTSCREAMER fucking tape from 1993! Fucking goddamn noise fest! Motherfucking alive right now if you're fucking thinking asshole bitch! Post-back 93, asshole! What the fuck?
My favorite will always be Space Invaders, because that is the first game I learned how to play video games on when I was about 8 or 9. And my dad used to take me to a bar, and they had Space Invaders there. And my dad would let me play Space Invaders at the bar. And then I'd ask my dad to go to the bar with him when I was like 8 or 9. And my mom would get real pissed. You can't go to the bar. I'm like, Mom, they got Space Invaders there. So I learned how to play Space Invaders at the bar with my dad when I was a little kid. And probably in the 80s, the arcades were real big and popular. And I would go to the arcade around the block from my house, and they had probably like 100 video games there, pinball, pool tables and stuff. And I would always play Centipede. Centipede was one of my favorites, so I would say Centipede. And then there's this weird game called Gyrus. It's kind of like Tempest, where you go in a circle, but then the ships are coming out at flying you and stuff. It's a game called Gyrus. Not that many people know, but I like that game a lot. I'm actually a real big fan of Q*bert. I like playing Q*bert a lot. Q*bert's one of my favorites. That's 3, that's 4. And obviously Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man and all that stuff too. But yeah, I'm a big arcade guy.
Hey, Kent State, are you ready for some stupidity? Yeah. Let me see my schnauzer babies. Axel.
Turned NUTSCREAMER into a stand-up comedy act accidentally, and I was doing NUTSCREAMERs just like at comedy events. It wasn't like a thrash metal show or nothing, because I was doing NUTSCREAMER at thrash metal shows, just screaming and yelling, gargling blood and doing stuff and yelling at people. And then this guy was like, hey, you want to come to the comedy club and do your skit? And I'm like, that's kind of cool. I'll be not in my element and people won't know who I am. And I did this NUTSCREAMER thing where I was pulling down my pants and stretching my penis and gargling blood and making fun of people. And a couple people got up and left because I was making fun of them. And then when the set got done, I gave like the MC guy the microphone, and he didn't want to touch the microphone because I was barfing on my dick and shit. Yeah. But
shit.
And then he told me he told me that I'm not getting paid for this. I'm
not getting paid.
You know.
What's this one called? Blood. It's called Gargle Blood. AC/DC I could almost put as my favorite band of all time. I seen AC/DC 2 nights in a row, and I couldn't move my neck for a week after that. Angus came out into the crowd once on the dude's shoulders, and I slapped him in the back
That was one of my greatest moments of that rock and roll show. Slapping Angus Young. That was pretty cool.
This is one evil ride, man. Fucking Satan's here with us. Most violent fucking roller coaster in the world. Yeah. Some of this. We're gonna fucking die. I can't wait to die. Fuck death. I'm living. I'm alive now. I'll be dead like G.G. Allen soon. Jesus.
Jim's a real funny guy, and we started hanging out probably in 1990, and playing in Schnauzer with him for 15 plus years. I have probably 400 Schnauzer stories, but Jim was like a brother. Like my mom made him Christmas cookies and give him presents for Christmas, and my mom would address his little thing like to Jim from Mrs. Sanley. And it would be to Eddie Haskell. My mom used to call Jim Eddie Haskell because he had that persona. He'd be like, "Oh, hi, Mrs. Sanley. You look so nice." And then we get down in the basement and we'd be like, "No, fuck you. No, you told me to give me that. No, I gave you that before." And we get in a fight. And we're like in our 30s. And my mom would open up the basement door and be like, "Jim, Steven, if you don't stop fighting, Jim's got to go home." And we're in our 30s. And my mom's yelling at us, like, you know. But I thought it was kind of funny how my mom would pick on him, you know. And my mom was a Steelers fan, so my mom liked Jim a lot, you know.
I don't want any of you fans up here. Come on. What do you guys want? What do we got? Get your asses out of this art gallery. What the fuck is wrong with you? If you